Hello and welcome to another Seismic Cinema ranking podcast. So grab some Infinity Stones, stick your feet up on Cap's shield, and get ready to escape to Asgard for the next 40 minutes, hopefully, because we're quite tired tonight.
Yeah, we're getting not too bad at these kind of ad lib intros.
Yeah, I always mess up the intro, the middle bit a wee bit, but sometimes it works out. So for any first time watchers, this is Seismic Cinema. I'm Colin and this is Paul. We've got our usual themed screen names. I'm the Watcher and Paul is Zemo. And from that, you might have guessed that our ranking this week is going to focus on the MCU.
Yep, looking forward to it. It's quite an interesting ranking. I think it's going to be a wee bit controversial. So yeah, looking forward to it, bud.
I've always got some hot takes. So we decided to rank the MCU movies because of the recent release of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which we're going to review next week and share that. But we're originally going to rank all of the MCU films, but Paul suggested rightly so that could take a long time. So we've decided to go for our top 10 movies.
Yeah, I think we'd probably used up all our StreamYard hours if we'd went for all 27.
We could do that. We could do that one day.
Yeah.
So, Paul, I think it's important with this one just to give a wee bit of background on our level of fandom for the MCU. So, where would you rank it amongst your favorite franchises?
I'd probably say it's probably second behind Star Wars for me. Like I really like the Marvel movies. So I'm quite into them. I'm not quite involved in it as much as like comic book wise. I'm more of a mainstream kind of film person wise. I dabble in the TV shows, but mainly the mainstream movies.
Yeah, I don't quite. I'd say maybe third for me. I would put Star Wars and Harry Potter above it, just in terms of personal preference. I've got a bit of an interesting experience. There was a point where I started going to see every single new release as it came out. But what happened was I hadn't seen a lot of the older ones, and then I bought all the DVDs, which became a bit of a waste of money when Disney Plus came out. So obviously now I get access to all of them. I've
Yeah,
now seen them all, but I just wanted to mention at the start here before the pitchforks come out that there are some, and there's two particular ones I know are very highly rated that I think only seen once, and that might explain why they're not in my top 10. So if I don't include one of your favorites, then don't hate me. Just maybe I haven't seen as much as other ones.
to be fair, we're missing out 17 films that probably people have as their favourites, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much.
Yep. Right. Well, let's get right into it. Paul, you're going first. I just decided. What's your 10th place?
My 10th place is Doctor Strange.
Oh, funny that.
So I went for this because I really liked Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I thought the visuals of the film were really amazing. See when he starts like kind of exploring his
Kinda,
powers. Oh, sorry. You say that?
kinda.
Kinda.
Is there a kinda count?
All right. Yeah. So the visuals were, I thought, amazing when he starts going through all the different kind of dimensions and things. Um, the only thing that I really wanted to put higher on my list, but I thought the end kind of let it down a wee bit. Like when he's kind of doing the kind of time loop,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty clever. It's a pretty clever uh, ploy when your opponent's so much more powerful. But I thought I don't know how long it went on, kind of thing, but I thought the bad guy kind of gave up pretty easy.
Is that
But
Is
I
that
really
that
liked,
the bargain bit?
yeah. But I really I liked all the actors in it. Actually, they all played it really well. Uh, and I thought the humor was really good in it. So yeah, my number 10 was Doctor Strange. Just a good solid movie all around, but it was mainly the visuals that were really striking for me in this film.
Yeah, that carries forth into some of his other appearances in the MCU as well. Can I just explain why I made a kind of shocked face a minute ago? My cat, I'm filming this one in the bedroom, and my cat attacked my feet when Paul was talking. So if you see me in a bit of pain, that's what it was.
Yeah, makes a change from my dogs messing up the videos.
Yeah. Right, my number 10, and this I was struggling to think what I wanted to put as my number 10, but this is a film. It's a really good origin story. It, I'll just tell you what it is first, and then we can discuss it a bit more. I went for Captain America: The First Avenger in 10th place.
Nice.
I just think it's a really good introduction to the character. It's the way they filmed it. So he looked really small, and then obviously he bulked up, and the way they kind of linked it in with the war and real world events. The Red Skull gets a bit of a hard time as a villain, but I didn't think he was that bad. No, obviously, he comes back. He comes back into play later on as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't really find anything wrong with him either. Had a good solid cast as well. It had like Tommy Lee Jones and things like that in
Yeah,
it.
it's a bit of a traditional Marvel origin story, but I think it's maybe one of the stronger ones in terms of the first outing of a character.
Yeah, and it did set up a lot of the plot lines for later films as well, quite well with the Tesseract, the
Yeah,
Tesseract weapons kind of way.
and it's got obviously the love story and the tragic end as well at the end of the film.
Yeah. Oh, the bomber. I forgot about that.
So Bucky's in this film as well.
Yeah.
Bucky Barnes.
Bucky and the Howling Commandos.
Yes.
Oh, it's all coming
Yeah,
back.
that was my number 10. It was the one I struggled to put my 10th, but I do think it is a solid film, and it's one that's worth rewatching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that goes on to my number 9 now. My number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay.
Another great film. Love the soundtrack. I love Kurt Russell. I think Kurt Russell's amazing in it.
But Ego.
Ego. The fact that they kind of go through all this like bonding kind of thing, that it turns out all it needs him for is his power to take over all the different planets. Yeah, it was just a really fun movie, but it had like a kind of deep message about family in it as well, which was kind of sad. And then the end with Yondu.
Yeah. I'm
Got me.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh, she ain't Mary Poppins no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like kind of ravaged her funeral as well with Yondu. Yeah, it was kind of a wee emotional roller coaster, but a good fun film. So it just edged out Doctor Strange a wee bit higher up the list. So I went for number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It was quite tough, wasn't it? The process of creating at least the top, not even ranking them, just have choosing your 10.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't know what criteria to go off of. Like which one did I enjoy more? Which one looked better? Which one had the better story? Which one had the better humor? So I've kind of got a mix of all the different ones.
You need to go with your gut a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is quite heavily criticised. I don't dislike it. I don't like it as much as the first one, but I think a lot of the bits you mentioned it is still a really enjoyable movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right, my number 9 is it's more one you just said there. It's more one. It's just a lot of fun. The lead actor is probably one of my favorite actors. It's really funny. It's really different, and it's really cool the way they filmed it. I went for number 9. I went for Ant-Man.
Oh, nice. That's one that I probably think most people would be kind of wary about.
I went to see it in Cineworld. It was like a special screening, and I just remember really enjoying it, and I really loved the way they used the kind of shrinking technology, and it allowed for a lot of great humor and a lot, and it makes it stand out a lot from other movies. The way they've done it when you've got like him running with like insects and all the ants and all that kind of stuff.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, there's some great visuals in both Ant-Man films. Paul Rudd obviously first came to prominence as Phoebe's husband in Friends, but he's now one of the most recognizable actors in the world, and he is absolutely hilarious. And there's a lot of funny supporting characters as well, like the guy that's in WandaVision, Jimmy Jimmy Choo. No, Jimmy Choo. That's
Jimmy
the
Choo, is he not the fashion designer?
that's the fashion designer. What's his name?
Asian Jim at the office.
That doesn't matter, but everyone knows who it is anyway. So yeah, I thought Ant-Man was really funny, quite unique, quite low stakes, but I like the kind of heist aspect of it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that film as well. It's one of the ones where the humor was just kind of spot on. I really liked. Was it Michael Pena? Michael Pena.
Yeah,
Pena?
yeah.
His take on things. He's just so daft, but he's just so funny.
When he tells like a story and then it shows you the story while he's telling it, and
Just
it's
all the
always
people.
really far fetched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an absolute great film.
I didn't
And
find that. I didn't find that a tough one to put in the top 10. I was quite
no,
happy including it in there.
yeah, but I find a lot of people don't like it for. I think it's mainly because the bad guy wasn't that memorable, Darren Cross,
Yeah,
with the yellow jacket suit. They didn't seem to think he was that much of
yeah.
a bad guy. So
I think a theme, and it's quite a well-known thing that a lot of the MCU villains aren't great. So it's not really a new thing for some of them.
yeah,
Okay, so what's your number 8?
my number 8 is Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
Yes, I like this one again. It was mainly because of the humor of it, and also the fight scenes were like amazing. Like the choreograph wise, I thought the bus scene was great. I really loved that. And when they're in Hong Kong as well, Hong Kong. I can't remember where they were. Anyway, where the sisters kind of fight club was, and you see like
Yeah,
Wong
I
fight
remember that.
Abomination from Incredible Hulk and things. I thought it had like, lots of Easter eggs in it, and I really liked the kind of story, like the kind of tragic story of the father and the mother, and that the father was always just trying to find the mother, even though it
Yeah,
was quite clearly a trick. The only thing I felt towards the end was it turned into a bit of a CGI fest at the end, like
it was the big
with the
dragon, wasn't it?
dragon, yeah, the dragon and the soul eater kind of monster thing. It got a wee bit too CGI, and the story went a wee bit kind of out there when it went into like that different dimension kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I enjoyed the first half of that better. Did we go see that together?
I think we did. I think we did. Yeah, I enjoyed the first half when he was kind of hiding who he was, so just doing it in wee kind of flashes. I think towards the end, when when he gets his full potential, it kind of takes away from it. I feel, but
I think
that's
that's
just me.
always I think that's always the case in superhero movies, that it is more enjoyable before the big reveal.
Yeah, I think pretty much. Uh, so yeah, that was my number 8, Shang-Chi.
Okay, my number 8 is one I'd love to put higher up, but I don't feel, although it's another great origin story, I don't feel like as a movie it's as good as the ones above it. Probably my favorite MCU character and the starting point for the franchise, I went for Iron Man 1.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
So Robert Downey Jr., obviously incredible. It's obviously directed by Jon Favreau, and it's the start of his amazing IMDb list, which includes the likes of Elf and The Mandalorian, and probably other things as well. So It it is a really good origin, and I really like when he's like trying to refine his suit and his relationship with his future wife. I think
Pepper
it's
Potts.
maybe because it's the first film in the series. Whenever you do a rewatch, I watch it first and see the scene when he's in Afghanistan and he gets kind of locked away and he builds the kind of very first suit. I feel like I've watched that scene so many times now that I find the first bit drags a wee bit.
Yeah,
But when he gets back to America and he does his press conference and there's the press conference at the end as well where he just says that he's Iron Man. It's a great film, a bit of a generic villain, which again is a bit of a recurring theme in the Marvel films. But it's a film that does link into future ones, like in Far From Home, where the guy who used to work for Tony Stark is kind of plotting against him, along with Mysterio.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
guy in the
yeah.
the
So
reactor chamber.
I think it's a great introduction to the MCU and the character of Iron Man, but I don't think as a movie it's as strong as ones I've got further up on the list.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually got that many. Actually, I'll not spoil it. I'll not spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil things.
Um, so I'm going the opposite way as you started off with the first movie of the MCU, and I'm starting off with no, I'm going at number 7 with Endgame,
Okay.
which I think may be a bit controversial because it's quite low down on my list. Um, Visually stunning, music stunning, acting was great. The only thing I didn't really care for was the kind of the time traveling plot. I thought that was kind of just a cheap way to go to reverse
Hmm.
all the people that have been snapped out of existence. Because like at the end of Infinity War, you're just like, wow. But then when this happens, it kind of just makes none of that really feel important.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I agree.
and the fact that Tony Stark could solve time travel within like a night or whatever it was, 2 nights, or whatever it was, like so fast over a projector. Um, it just I don't know, it just felt a wee bit rushed to me. But when they started doing like, a kind of time heist, I thought it was really funny. It was good going back, seeing all the different movies from different perspectives. And in the end, see the end, so many people were crying in the cinema. I wasn't one of them, but so many people were crying in the cinema. It was great.
What happened at the end?
Well,
Should I
it's,
mention that there's spoilers for most of the MCU in this podcast?
oh yeah, spoilers.
We kind of have bad.
Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to be in Iron Man 4.
We used to do that at the start of every podcast, but now we just randomly say it in the middle.
Yeah, sorry if I spoiled that man for you.
Cool. Have you got
So
anything
yeah,
else to add about that?
nope. Number 7, Endgame for me. So just the time traveling that kind of put it up high for me.
You know, Paul, we don't agree very often, but I've actually got Endgame seventh as well.
Oh, maybe it's not such a hot take after all.
And I think it is a wee bit overrated. I agree with you. My main thing is the time travel heist. It's a bit like when the Simpsons used to do those clip shows. They were just going back to all the great stuff from before. I kind of wish they'd went their own route and had their own planets and locations and battles. The end battle is amazing.
Yeah,
There's a great heart to the film, like when Black Widow perishes and Iron Man's death is tragic. There's a real heart to it, and the scene with Captain America aging and going to enjoy his life with Peggy is great as well. So there's a lot of heart to the film, but as you said, I don't think the overall plot was that great.
yeah. Do you think he confessed to winching his niece or whatever it was?
Yeah, let's never go down that route, but you never know. So yeah, I think you touched on a lot of things as well. I think it is. It's obviously made my top 10, so I obviously do enjoy it, and it is really epic and a great. It's a great conclusion to
Yeah.
the
See the end
the
when
saga.
when all the portals start
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
through, and all the armies and that start coming through.
yeah.
Gets the adrenaline going every time.
It is a film that I've not watched in a while, so this is actually making me want to do a bit of an MCU rewatch. I feel sometimes you get bogged down in some of the lesser films when you do a full rewatch, so I might just be more selective.
Yeah, I seen a what do you call it a continuation error in the end game in the final battle, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I hope I'm like the first one in the world to notice this. I went on the internet and it was like 6 months ago somebody seen it. I was like, oh, raging. There's like Ant-Man in the background, but it was actually somewhere else in the movie.
All right, I see. I was just one of his ant friends.
No,
So,
it was like massive Ant-Man in the background fighting something, and then it was in the next scene, he was like in the van, like doing something with a computer.
okay, I don't obviously don't pay that much attention. So we both had Endgame number 7, number 6 for you.
I went for Ant-Man.
Oh, you had that man quite high then.
Yeah. Um, so you covered most of it as well. Ant-Man for me, I think the humor was just absolutely spot on. I thought the characters were hilarious. Excuse me. Uh, like the CGI was brilliant. I thought Paul Rudd's character, his chemistry with Evangeline Lilly was great. Michael Douglas was fantastic as ever. I just like the whole kind of heist audition to become Ant-Man, and then obviously the heist itself, and using all the different discs to like minimize things and make things bigger. And they're making like things comically bigger, like you're saying, like Thomas the Tank Engine and things like that.
How good's the end battle with on the trains though in the wee girls' room?
Yeah, yeah, that's it's just such a it's just such a weird and wacky way of doing it. It's just different from all the other. It's got like such a lighter tone to it, even though there's like so much at stake.
Um,
They managed to
it's
pull it
more
off with a lighter kind of tone.
it's more like a family kind of rom com kind of movie, isn't it? Rather than
Kinda, yeah, with ants everywhere.
yeah, lots of
Um,
ants.
but yeah, Ant-Man 3, number 6, bud.
My number 6 is probably my main controversial take, and it's considered the weaker of its set, but I've always really liked it. In particular, the camaraderie and a kind of night out scene they had where they're all getting drunk and trying to lift Thor's hammer. The intro scene's great where they're all running through the forest fighting. I really like the villain. I think he's very. I like the way he's introduced or it's introduced, and when the big reveal and he starts just causing mayhem in the Avengers headquarters. I put number 6, Age of Ultron.
I like that choice. Yeah, that's
I think it's really underrated. It's considered the worst of the Avengers films, but I've always just really enjoyed it.
yeah, it is a good watch. It's got lots of good wee kind of set pieces. Can't remember. I think I got a bit bogged down towards the end just because it seemed like they were just fighting like tons of robots, which made it feel like the first movie when they were just fighting loads of aliens kind of thing in the city, but
Yeah,
instead they're just fighting robots. But
I think again that's always been a bit of a
yeah,
MCU
the
issue.
The Marvel films just kind of
Star Wars did it better, I think, in a lot of ways,
yeah.
bit more variety. So yeah, Age of Ultron. I've always really enjoyed it. I've obviously ranked it higher than Endgame. That's just a personal preference. I do think Ultron is a great villain. I like how he came from like kind of Jarvis, and yeah, I kind of wish we'd seen a bit more of him.
Yeah, I think is he not in What If quite a lot?
Yeah, Yeah, it is, and the end's obviously good as well. This movie is really important because obviously this paves the way for the issues in Civil War with the damage that the Avengers caused to the world.
Yeah,
So,
Sokovia.
yeah, it's the Sokovia Accord, so it is really important. Obviously, it introduces Wanda, who goes on to have a big part in the movies, and I don't know,
Vision.
Is this Vision's first appearance in this film?
Yeah, because
So
Ultron creates Vision.
yeah. So it's obviously a really important movie in the MCU as well, with all the characters and plot lines that introduced. So
Yeah,
I'm standing by my number 6.
no, solid choice again, bud.
So what's your number 5 then into the higher Europa League spots?
Okay, went for Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Nice.
So again, it's probably most of mine's on like the kind of humor of it all. Guardians of the Galaxy, the soundtrack for the Marvel movies, when it first came out, I didn't realize it was part of the MCU. When it first came out, I thought it was just kind of a movie. Didn't really bother much about it. And then I watched it, and it was fantastic. And then this starts tying in with all the Infinity Stones and Thanos, uh, and the characters as well. Groot, Rocket. I thought they were. Well, you kind of say Groot's brilliant, but he's funny in his own kind of way. Rocket's
He is Groot.
yeah. You'd never guess that Rocket was Bradley Cooper. He does such a great job voicing him.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, excellent.
You know, he's really disliked. I don't know why I like him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some like controversial things in the news. It's probably not for this show to talk about.
Yes.
But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy for me is it's such a fun movie. There's so many like quirky wee set pieces, like the prison break. I thought it's so funny. Like Rocket just like gets somebody to steal. What is it? They steal somebody's eye, or somebody's arm, or something, or somebody's leg.
It's
And
not
he's
like
like, What did you need this for?" And he's like, "I didn't. I just thought it'd be funny."
yeah. It's not like a
Like
fake
just
eye or
daft.
something.
What's that?
Like a glass eye or something.
Something like that. It's like a mechanical eye or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The mind of James Gunn is deranged but brilliant.
Nah. Yeah, it was one of those surprise ones. I don't think many people had really heard of them when it first came out.
Yeah, I didn't associate them with the MCU at all when it first came out. It just kind of flew under my radar, and then I watched it randomly. I
Yeah.
think on Sky.
It is one that if I was to pick one just to stick on, like it's a background movie or just something to sit down and enjoy with friends, it's definitely one to be up there for me.
Yeah, and just jam away to the music.
And a shameless plug, it's obviously came up in our soundtrack podcast before.
Yes,
Oh, but this is Buddy, by the way, for anyone not seen him before.
anyone on Spotify. It doesn't really
A
matter.
cat. There's a cat here. Yes. Right. My number 5 has a really fantastic third act. Just makes you smile, makes you cry, makes you laugh. The first half's a bit convoluted, and Doctor Strange is a wee bit irresponsible here in his use of his magic spells. But seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield teaming up with Tom Holland to take on a range of villains in Far From Home was not Far From Home, No Way Home. It wasn't a perfect film, and I think the first half does have its issues. But I think when it gets going and they introduce the three Peters, I think it's just one of the most nostalgic experiences I've had in the cinema, and definitely one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it quite a wee bit, didn't we, in our Spider-Man rankings?
Oh yeah,
Another,
I forgot we did a Spider-Man ranking.
another shameless plug.
We've done quite a few pods now, haven't we?
Yeah. So, if you get bored of this one, you can switch over to that one. Talk about more Spider-Man stuff.
Yes.
Um,
There's a button
yeah.
down here. There isn't really buttons. We haven't worked that out yet.
Yeah. One day there'll be something down there, but it's not there.
But he's got a lot of screen time in this one, isn't
Aye, special guest. Glad I don't need to pay him.
he?
Yeah, so yeah, excellent. It was an excellent film, wasn't it?
not
No,
not perfect, but really good, really good.
yeah. Like see what you're saying, like see when the all the Spider-Man kind of converged,
Yeah.
all the feels, all the feels.
Hopefully that. Surely it won't be too long before that's on Disney Plus. I wouldn't have thought.
Wouldn't have thought so. You know, they'll probably have it going as long as it's making money out there.
Yep. Right, into the Champions League spots now, Paul. Number 4.
I went for Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought this. I thought the plot was really clever. The way that everything links in. The way that the Winter Soldier was the one that killed Tony's mum and dad.
Spoilers.
The way the team splits into two because some of them want government oversight and some of them want to be able to operate without bias. Basically, the fight at the airport with the two teams was great. A couple of Star Wars references in there too.
The Empire Strikes Back one.
Yeah. Ant-Man's back in this one. I thought he was hilarious because like nobody knows who he is and he knows everybody.
Did you see the really funny thing? It's like if Peter Parker is such a big fan of Star Wars, why has he not noticed that Mace Windu's Nick Fury?
Maybe the prequels don't exist in his dimension.
Maybe.
And obviously this was the introduction to the MCU of Tom Holland. Because he wasn't in. This was before Homecoming, I think.
I think so.
It was before Homecoming, yeah. So
Black
it was great.
Black Panther as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Black Panther as well.
Rest in peace.
So yeah, it was just a good introduction to lots of different characters. The action was great. Loads of great fight scenes in it. My character Zemo's in it.
Yes. Was he dancing in a nightclub?
Dancing in a nightclub? What?
Oh, you don't get that reference.
I definitely do not.
Have you seen Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Oh, right. I've not seen it. I've seen the first couple episodes.
Right. That'd make more sense if you'd seen all of that then.
Okay, damn it. Yeah, so I went for Civil War. Just the visuals were awesome. The message behind it was quite provocative, I'd say, because it does make you kind of want to choose, like, who do you think is in the right? And who do you think is in the right?
I think Iron Man.
So
you go for Iron Man at the time.
You go for government oversight.
I think they had got a wee bit out of hand.
Yeah. See, I was more Captain America. I think it was just because, you know, like Hydra and stuff had infiltrated all the governments and that, and it'd be hard to know who to trust.
It was just interesting seeing Tony Stark humbled and just admitting that, like, they've been wrong.
Yeah, especially when he's been so cocky in the previous films.
Yeah. Anyway, that could be a whole nother podcast. So my number 4, I went for, and I used to think it was called Avengers Assemble, but I think it's just called Marvel's Avengers. I think that's the formal name of it.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, let me double check that. Anyway, the first Avengers film is in my 4th slot, and as many people would say, nothing new here. Just seeing Incredible Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America all come together for the first time. There's a good villain, which doesn't happen as often, and Loki. It does have that problem with just faceless aliens, but the battle in New York is iconic, and obviously there's Hawkeye in there as well, and it's a location that's revisited, not just in Endgame, but also spoilers. It kind of comes back in some ways in Hawkeye, the TV show as well.
Oh, does it now?
And just the camaraderie between the characters and the animosity, big words today, between Captain America and Iron Man when they first meet is great, and then Thor arrives, and it's just, do you remember in like Star Wars: A New Hope, you obviously meet Leia first, then you meet Luke, then you meet Han, and it's like you're meeting all these characters, and it's just kind of building up to the finale. I felt like this film's a bit like that. The characters were getting introduced at peak moments, and it just kept making the film better as it went along.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It was quite an ambitious undertaking, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had to get this right. I think the whole of the MCU would have failed. I think Iron Man and this are probably the two most important films in terms of getting the MCU started, but also seeing if the collaboration would work.
Yeah, it's such a big, bold, ambitious plan, because I think anything really had been done on this scale had it, to get all these films to intersect
Yeah.
and come off.
My issue was, as I said at the start, I just went to see these films individually and enjoyed them. But
Mhm.
because I'd missed some, I didn't really have the interlinking that I have with other franchises. And when I saw Endgame, maybe why I don't enjoy Endgame as much as other people is that there were still a few films I hadn't seen. When I saw Endgame, I went back and filled in a few blanks after that. So I guess it just depends where your entry point is.
Yeah,
But since a certain point, I can't remember when it was, I have seen every single film on release. We quite often go to see them, and I've watched all the Disney Plus shows that have been released as well.
yeah, because we actually did a review on Moon Knight, didn't we, Colin?
Yep, we did. And in the future, we're going to rank the Disney Plus MCU shows as well when you watch the ones you haven't watched.
Yeah, once I get my finger out and get watching Loki, uh, Captain America, Winter Soldier,
Okay.
and Hawkeye.
Some good content in there. Right, Paul number 3.
I went for No Way Home.
Nice.
So it was very much the same as you. Like, it was such a nostalgia fest. I thought the actual whole premise of the movie was a bit crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange actually just changing reality because
Here
Peter's
in
pal
its school.
getting to college.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a wee bit of a crazy way to make to further the plot. But once it got going, I really did like it. I was saying earlier on when the Spider-Man all got introduced, I thought they were absolutely brilliant. I love Andrew Garfield. He's definitely my favourite by far.
Me too.
It just, yeah, it was just, there were so many wee moments, like when he caught Zendaya, as if he was getting like a second chance when he didn't catch Emma Stone.
Yeah.
It was a just nice wee moments like that. I thought the end battle was was cut a bit short. Like all the bad guys got taken down really quickly in quick succession, which I was a bit kind of sad about. I thought it was going to be a big, long, epic kind of battle, but it kind of wrapped up pretty quick. But I really enjoyed it for the most part. So yeah, number 3, No Way Home for me, bud.
And I feel like it also, for both of us, has really improved our love for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, because initially I didn't actually like that film, but see, back watching it now, yeah, I definitely got a better appreciation of it.
Cool. Right. Number 3 for me is one you've already mentioned. I wanted to have it higher, but when I looked at it as a movie, it's got, as you said, great characters, great soundtrack, great humor. Maybe not as strong as a overall movie, because I think if you take away the music, it wouldn't be half the film it is. Guardians of the Galaxy number 3. So I think
Number 3.
it is really fun. It's really goofy. It's got great music. It's not maybe not got the stakes that some of the other films have. It's although I guess it does link into like the Infinity Stones and things like that. I just thought it's a real feel good film, amazing soundtrack, but the two films above it I think are more epic in scale.
Oh, also, can I just ask a question?
Yeah,
Did you go forward in time?
what do you mean?
Because you said yours was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
No, I meant number 3, like number 3 in my ranking.
All right, you said volume 3.
Yeah.
I was like, I was sitting there going, is there a volume 3 out? Have I just missed it and not realised?
Sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is my number 3.
Right, okay. I'm so confused.
Right, number 2.
For me, it is Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. Maybe that's one of the ones I've only seen once, which may explain why it's not on my list.
That's okay. Just means your list is totally naff now, but it's fine.
I've never clicked with the Thor films as much as some of the other
Yeah,
subsets.
the first and second ones didn't grab me, and I thought the third one I wasn't going to be too interested in either. But the director Taika Waititi, I think he absolutely smashes it.
IG-11.
IG-11. Yeah, he just brings the whole thing, brings total freshness to it. The humor is, like I was saying in the other films, the humor is so wacky and so funny. Like there's just things you see Chris Hemsworth like saying to the Hulk, which you never thought he would never say it in the first two films.
I like the bit where he's like, "It's my friend from work."
Yeah, like he would not say anything like that in the first two films.
Yeah.
I love Jeff Goldblum in it. He's just a wacky go lucky kind of guy. Was he the Grandmaster?
I can't remember who the character was. Who was the one? It was just like a rock. It was like a rock.
Oh, Korg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's one I want to go back and watch again because I'm pretty sure I have only seen it once.
Yeah, because I think Taika Waititi does his voice.
Right.
Taika
Waititi's also directing a future Star Wars project, which hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, I think he's doing the new Thor film as well. That Love and Thunder.
We're going to be reviewing that in July, aren't we, Paul? Possibly on someone else's podcast, not this one.
Possibly, if he can figure out how to raise enough funds to get us on the show.
Yeah, we are quite expensive.
Quite expensive, quite exclusive, you know.
If Man City think Haaland's wages are going to be high, wait till see ours. Right, so was that your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 was your number 3, maybe, or 4. Civil War.
Yeah, that was my number 4.
Since I saw it, it's always been one of my favourites. And as you said, the airport scene, seeing the two different factions fighting, and as you said, the Star Wars humor from Spider-Man, and seeing these people who were always together against each other was really interesting. And the climatic fight between Iron Man and Captain America is really intense, and also has that emotional weight where you find out what happened to Tony Stark's mum. I think also something else that helped this film was it came out in the same year as Batman versus Superman, which I think we also went to see together, which was a bit, in my opinion, not that great. So I think it was like that. It was you're frightening my cat with that voice, by the way.
Martha.
Buddy's looking shocked. I'll show you him. He's looking shocked.
Martha.
Look at him. So yeah, it's just a great, yeah. And I like, as I said, how it links into the other films. I like that it's a really good plot. Like there's a clear, what's the word I'm looking for?
Message.
No, not message. There's a clear, like, purpose and reason behind what's happening.
Okay. Yes, I understand.
I can't think of the exact word that I meant, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. So yeah, great introduction. It was great seeing, as I said, Spider-Man for the first time. And yeah, I think it's just a really, really enjoyable. Definitely the best of it's my favourite out of the Captain America ones, although people have always said it's a bit like Avengers, like an extra Avengers film rather than a Captain America film.
Yeah, kinda. If you just say Civil War, it does kind of make you think it's just an Avengers film rather than a Captain America film.
And I think that's what brought it up the rankings a wee bit as well. Right, Paul, I think, I could be wrong, I think we might have the same first place, and I think that should be the case because I don't think there's any way you wouldn't have included my number one in your top 10. Will we do
It's
one? Will we do 1, 2, 3 and see if we're the same?
right, okay.
Right. 3 or 3, 2, 1. 3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Infinity War.
Incredible Hulk. What?
Infinity War. Surely
Oh,
that's your number one. Because if it's not in your top 10, that's weird.
oh wait, yeah, I can't read my writing. It does say Infinity War, not Incredible Hulk. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we've had a couple. That's funny. We had Endgame and Infinity War both in the same places.
Oh, great minds think alike, eh, bud?
So we'll just maybe pick a couple of things that we liked about it. You go first.
Eh, so I liked just the fact that there was lots of different stories happening at the same time, like in different locations.
Yeah,
I liked the kind of off-world thing. I liked Wakanda.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I like that we kind of pitched.
Interesting. Neither of us had Black Panther in our top 10.
I didn't really like that film.
I
That's probably
wasn't.
one.
I didn't dislike it. Alien hated it, so I don't know if that's impacted my feeling for it.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was like the end fight was just like loads of CGI. Like the characters were good enough, but I just didn't see like it had been hyped up for me like before I'd seen it.
Yeah,
Like everyone said how great it was, and I just didn't. I
I
didn't
didn't.
really feel it.
I didn't even, no pun intended, scratch my top 10.
Nah, me neither. To be fair,
Sorry, we went totally off on a tangent. We're talking about Infinity War. My
yes, we're
fault.
talking about it now. So like the whole Wakanda kind of pitch battle, I really liked that. Just them holding them at the shield and then letting them in, just the action in it. The only thing I can think of that annoyed me was when Thanos was like out for the count and Chris Pratt's hitting him in the face. I was just like, "What are you doing? Why?"
Yeah, it did have a really. It's mentioned a lot as like the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU, and that it ends on a sour note, and obviously the snapping happens, and Spider-Man disappears amongst many others. I think, as you said, the battle in Wakanda is amazing, and when Thor arrives with his new hammer, and
His
goes
axe.
his axe. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant axe. I have seen this film honestly. I think we talk about villains, but Thanos is a great villain and has a kind of weird kind of moral message where like he thinks he is doing things for the greater good.
The greater
Hashtag
good.
Thanos. Hashtag Thanos is right.
Hashtag Thanos just made double the resources.
I just think it's really good at the start as well. There was the bit where they were kind of getting the team together, and remember Wanda and Vision are in Edinburgh at the start, and
Oh
then
yeah,
Captain America shows up.
yeah. The train station.
Yeah, hashtag relatable.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
yeah,
recovered.
Civil War obviously was my second. I think it was the only one that would have came close to knocking this off top spot, and I do think it's a lot better than Endgame.
Yeah, it was just a shame the way that, like, obviously they'd done the snap and like everyone had gone and like this was like Endgame. Like people were like crying over the cinema when this happened.
Yeah,
Like you seen Tom Holland like drift away into dust, and I was like, "Whoa, did they just kill like half the MCU off?"
you know,
And then
kind of.
like shortly after that, they announced like all these other films coming out. Like it's like, oh well, they're obviously not going to stay dead.
It's a weird one because you don't obviously want all these characters to disappear forever, but it does like takes away the stakes a wee bit.
Yeah, yeah, because you know there's something's going to magically happen.
Can I share a funny anecdote? So in my job as a teacher, a pupil used to must have been round about when the film came out. They would say, "Mr. Spark, I don't feel so good," and I was like, "Why does he keep saying that?" And it wasn't until I clicked that he was substituting Start for Spark.
Did anyone else get it? The kids?
I think like our pals did, but it actually took me a while to clock it. Even though I'd seen Infinity War, I didn't like relate the two in my head for some reason. Anyway, I thought it was quite amusing.
No. Just
So,
luckily you're not narcissistic as much as Mr. Stark.
yeah. I kind of wish my name was Mr. Stark sometimes.
I wish I was as rich as Mr. Stark.
I was thinking more of the Game of Thrones Starks than Tony.
Oh no, you want to keep your head.
Right, well that's our top 10. It's done. It wasn't that I said it was difficult to start, but I don't think it was actually as hard as I thought, because I was going to write down some honorable mentions and there wasn't really many that I didn't include that I wanted to include. I'm actually quite happy with the 10 I selected.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually had quite a lot of similar ones. I thought it was going to be a bit of a mixed bag,
Yeah.
because we have quite different tastes. When it comes to these films, like you enjoy a lot more story based films, I'd imagine, and I enjoy more
Well, saying that,
things go boom.
my my top two both had war in their name.
See, this is after watching Saving Private Ryan. This is you now.
There's also a review of that.
Yes. And like you're saying about Thanos being such a great bad guy, we've done a top 10 villains as well.
Whoa,
Just saying.
We should probably stop there. We're going to alienate the fan base. Well, at the moment we're sitting about 51 minutes. This podcast is going to come in under an hour, which is quite a miracle because Paul's chickened out and doesn't have any random questions to ask this week.
Nah, last one. Didn't I? That was enough.
What was the one?
Team Iron Man or Team Captain America?
Team Iron Man.
Okay. Would you, if you had an Infinity Gauntlet, would you snap half of life out of existence, or would you snap double resources into existence?
Double resources.
See, it's not that hard, is it? He was just a bit crazy.
We'll go for life. Right. So in terms of what's coming up next, so this podcast that we're currently talking in, sorry for continuously breaking the fourth wall. This is going to come out on Monday. We have flipped our order a wee bit. We used to release our rankings on a Monday and our reviews on a Thursday, but we had to change it just for circumstantial reasons. But the fact that Obi-Wan, which, sorry for anyone who doesn't like Star Wars, but we don't really care, we're going to be reviewing each episode of the new Obi-Wan show, which is out in just over 2 weeks. Getting very excited now.
Can't wait.
Because that's coming out on a Friday, I think, Paul, we could do our rankings record them on a Tuesday for release on a Thursday, and then record Obi-Wan over the weekend for the Monday. Do it something like that.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So that's probably the easiest, isn't it?
Yep. So, as I said, this ranking will come out on Monday. Next Thursday, we're going to share an in-depth discussion about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I'm going to see in a few days' time. Paul, have you seen it yet?
Not yet, no, but hope to see it in the next couple of days.
Well, you're going to need to go. You need to get your finger out. And we're going to be joined by Strachan from Strachan's podcast for that, who has done a wee turn for us in support of one of our podcast challenges.
Yep, we're doing a podcast challenge. If you check out that damn podcast on Twitter or look out hashtag bracket challenge, you'll probably see that we have somehow snuck our way up into the final 4 out of 64 podcasts. And young Mr. Strachan kindly helped us out because the final challenge was a diss track. And me and Colin don't quite have the rapping skills that he does. I'm
not even that good at rapping presents either.
Yeah, me neither. So we were kind of snookered. So Strachan came in at the last minute and gave us a hand. So well done, Andrew.
And it's not cheating because he's been on the podcast multiple times, so he's part of it.
Yeah, that's my excuse. And if anyone asks, I'll just say I did it. So yeah, if you look at that challenge, see we're in the final 4, and the polls go live Wednesday, so there'll still be a day to vote when this video comes out. So yeah, if you go on, listen to Andrew's diss track of the opposing podcast that we're up against, give it a wee vote.
Who seemed much nicer than a previous opponent we've had, but I'll move on.
Jesus.
So yeah, the Doctor Strange review will come out on Thursday, and then the following Monday we're going to share our top 10 directors, and we're going to be joined by a couple of special guests, which we'll reveal nearer the time. So I think it's time to do those shameless plugs. Paul, do you want to help me out with the social medias, and I'll do the podcast side?
Okay, so social media. Probably most active on Twitter
Over
under
500 followers.
Oh yeah, we've got 500 followers. Like that's
Over.
crazy.
Whoa, we've only been doing this since January. That's like 100 a month.
I know. That's like 495 more than I thought we'd have. And only 400 are like burner accounts that I've made.
Yes.
So yeah, we're doing all right in Twitter. Got a nice wee community doing these like challenges. It's a good laugh.
Meet some friends.
Instagram, we sometimes post a few photos here and there for our promotions. Facebook, if you've got any questions or anything, just ping us across. Any suggestions, that'd be good. We're always looking for new things to do, new movies to review,
New people to collaborate with.
new people to collaborate with. So yeah, that's our socials, is it not?
Yep. Until we get TikTok on the go. Yep. So, in terms of where you can watch and listen, you can watch our lovely faces. I am the Watcher. Watch it on YouTube, where we're steadily growing, I would say. I'm quite pleased with the views in recent videos. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. You can also check us out in audio form on Spotify's Good Pods, which I always forget about, sorry. Anchor, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Audible, and Amazon Video. And it's always nice hearing that people are listening on different medias. One of my colleagues listens to us on Apple Podcast, which is quite interesting. So if you're listening to us or watching, please don't be shy. Let us know. Send us a message, comment on the posts, comment on the videos. It's always interesting to hear people's thoughts and see who's listening.
Yeah. Give us a review. If we're terrible, let us know. If we're okay, give us all the stars.
Yeah. But I think we're kind of past the honeymoon phase of doing the podcasting, but I still will always look forward to doing the rankings and reviews.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed doing the rankings. I think you're more prepared than I am. You usually do them like a day before, and I do them about 10 minutes before I air.
I usually just write down like a short list, and then on the day I rank them. But I was a wee bit more organised this week. But anyway, that's where you'll find us. We have recently forgot, which is quite bad, to share our slogan. Paul, you want to do the honours?
Okay. We are Seismic Cinema, and our slogan is the power of snapping your fingers to destroy half the universe.
No, Paul, that's not it.
I mean, it's the power of escapism.
Yes, that was more like it. So I like to finish things on the bits. So we've got a minute 45 just to talk garbage. No, I'm only joking. We're not going to go. We're not going to go that far. So thank you for checking out our MCU ranking podcast. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. But at the end of the day, it is just our opinions. So let's keep it civil.
War.
What's that?
Civil War.
Civil War. Yes, very nice. So we'll finish off there. Thank you for listening, Paul. Thank you for being the partner in crime as always. And we'll
Always
look
a
forward
pleasure.
to seeing you next time.
Yep. See you later, guys and girls. Bye.